It may sound shocking to some of you, but nobody really wants to be mean. Nobody wants to be rude or purposefully try to attempt to hurt another being, not just a human being, but a being in general. Now, how is that possible? Well, according to my understanding, we want to be the best versions of ourselves. And according to my understanding, the best version of yourself is the one that follows your unfiltered, pure, sincere, authentic emotions that do not come from ego, but from your pure, unfiltered self, which many of us have tried to suppress for the majority of our lives because of not feeling safe enough to be able to be, or allow ourselves to be vulnerable. So the last time we, or most of people I believe, have felt safe to be that way was when they were in their early childhood. And that was probably a long time ago for many of you. So that would be it, based on my understanding. And if somebody attempts to hurt another, then that's only an extension or a reflection of their inner state that they think they should feel about themselves, or that's how they think they should behave towards themselves, because of not adhering to the harsh and unnecessary, rigid, and hurtful, actually, standards that their ego tries to present them and measured them against. But where does the ego come from? Because it doesn't come from, it does come from your initiation. Everything is your choice as far as I'm concerned. It's just that when we are, when we are children, when we are in that, I don't know if I should call it developmental phase, but when we are children, we want to believe the world because our trust in the world is only our reflection of our trust towards ourselves and our intuition. So we see no problem in believing external sources because we believe they are the same as us, which is true in the core of things, because everything is made out of the same materials and, frankly, out of energy and light. Even science knows that in today's day and age, or believes that, or whatever. So if you want scientific evidence, and yeah, you have it, but I wouldn't really go about things through the perspective of science as a primary source of judgment of what is conclusive. But it's a nice tool, I guess. Sound on? Yeah. It's important to breathe. It's really important to breathe. You have no idea, like, maybe you do have an idea, but I certainly didn't have an idea for a long time of just how much a single deep intentional breath can change, how your mindset can shift, and how your complete composure and confidence in yourself can shift for the better. So it's not for, what did they say, for the light of day, or it's not a joke to hear people say that breathing is important, because it is. Anyway, I don't know. I know what topic am I on, but I don't know what's the last thing I fucking said. Shit. This chair is a little uncomfortable because I would like to spread my thighs even further, but the construction doesn't really want to allow me to do so. And if I would try out, I'm afraid I would break it, so I don't know. Anyway. Yeah, so I think I was saying something to the connotation of where does the ego come from, and that everything's a choice, but yeah, the child wants to believe because it believes in itself. It's a reflection, you know, as above, so below, as inside, so outside, you could also say. And that's all there is. But the thing is, the child in today's day and age comes into a world in which it is somehow it has become a trend to have an ego and to pride oneself in the ego and to not question the ego and to basically live in fear, because the ego only can come out of fear. And so the child unknowingly absorbs beliefs that support the claim that ego is important and that it should be invested in, and so on. And at some point, or it continually starts to not only support these claims verbally, but also emotionally, because it gets to points in life where it reacts, the being reacts negatively, or something resonates negatively with them, and when they will try to look for an explanation for why it appeared that way to them or why they feel that way, they will look for a conscious reasoning of why that is. And it just happens so oftentimes that the most amount, or even all of the conscious reasoning we have, is coming out of a perception of truth from a lower level of consciousness and a lesser reality thereby. So they will adjust themselves to that perception of reality accordingly. Thus, at that point, we can be talking about the sad and tragic concept of a loss of your child self, because this happens regularly. This is a trend, this is common, and this is what I believe most people experience growing up. And it's a very serious issue, and frankly, I would even say it's the most serious issue we have going on in the world, because that's the difference. A big fly. That's the big difference and the fundamental difference or key difference between being sincere and not being sincere, being confident in yourself and believe in yourself and feeling sincerely, and suppressing emotion and fear. I don't know why I chose to. Let me make a correction. That should be here, because it's lower level of reality, and what was previously here should be here because it's the higher level of reality. This is an example of how you can change basically your perception and your self-image in real time. Because if I were to let it be that way, where the actual lower level of reality would be positioned higher, and I were to recall to this moment in the future from now, and then I would feel maybe shameful about myself because I had the opportunity to change that scheme or that categorization, but I didn't, and that could, I could feel bad about myself, even though I could forgive myself, but I would have a more difficult time doing so because of being aware that I had that choice and I didn't utilize it. But now, because I want the best for myself, I'm thinking about my self-image, and if what I am doing is aligned with my self-image. And if I have the choice to make something or adjust something to how I feel further, like this, then I try to do it, because I think that's all it's about, feeling good and being yourself, and not rushing anywhere, and focusing primarily on yourself without meaning to rid anybody else of their joy or make somebody's life quality worse or something. And that's nah, and that's it. Nobody wants to be mean. That's the truth. Because nobody in the end would have a reason to be mean if they realized that they are enough. People who feel that it's okay to be mean or viceful, they have an ego. First of all, they believe the ego is something to be serious about, is something that is much more important than anything else, and they're thereby being or feeling rushed, and they don't allow themselves to focus on the details because they believe they don't matter, because they only focus on the results and the appearances and the external stuff. But that's the opposite of what you need to focus on, because that's not how you fulfill your needs or wants. All of that important stuff is inside. You need to look inside, because there's no other way to fill that gap. No other way. Anything that is outside of you is not going to help you, because everything outside of you is not you. That's just how it's going to go. You can't have it other way. That's the universal law. That's you. It's just how it works. And you just got to go slowly about things. You got to find your pace. You got to start being interested in finding your preferences and why it's even important, and why enjoying life is much more important than other people saying that you are credible or likable or enjoyable to be around, or fun or exciting or whatever, adventurous, whatever, because it's your life, not theirs. I'm not saying you should be mean to other people. I'm saying you should be true to yourself. I think that's where I will end this video. Thank you for your attention, time. Hope you enjoyed it.